What? Welcome back to London Book Shopping Part 2. Today we'll be going over 3 bookshops that are all 20-minute walking distance from each other, and the first one is Blackwell's Bookshop in High Holborn. Now, I really loved the vibe and layout of this place. It was so spacious and it wasn't overwhelming with like the quantity of books. It had the typical stuff, new releases, quite a small history section, a small non-fiction section upstairs, but a massive fiction section upstairs. And they had these really cute little book displays with book recommendations like this one, thought-provoking books. But Powerless was on there, so I don't know who on earth is putting books on these tables, but Powerless is not that thought-provoking, I'm not gonna lie. This is one of my mum's favourite poems called The Orange, so I just thought I'd put it in here for you to read if you fancied. I freaking love a bookshop with games. I am a game addict, and Exploding Kittens is one of my favourites. If you have not played that game, definitely go and play it. Quick little fact about Black Books, I was about to say, Blackwells, is that it used to be independent and it freaking got bought out by Waterstones. I am gutted because Waterstones is buying up everything. Now I've gone downstairs to a little selection. There's not massive amounts down here. It was a bit odd because they had a little desk down there, but it had a huge non-fiction section, and I finally found the science fiction, which I was a bit gutted that it was so small, but there was science fiction down there and there was a tiny manga selection. So if you like those genres, this bookshop probably isn't for you. So my overall book rating is the vibes and the staff were good. The book selection, I mean, it's very generic. I felt like I couldn't find any special, unique finds in there. And then the cafe being Cafe Nero, anything non-independent is a massive cop-out for me. So overall, it got a 2.5. Next, we've got London Review Bookshop in Bury Place, and I feel like I found my new favourite bookshop in London. I loved it in here. As soon as I walked in, I felt like I was in a homey book cave. I don't know how to describe it other than that. I think it was the floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, the colours, and how the books were laid out. But as soon as you walk in there, there's book reviews and recommendations from their staff, and it's all different types of books, not just new releases. And I really like that. The notes made it really personable, and I felt like I could pick up a new different book I wouldn't usually select. Now, the overall vibe and look of all the books overwhelmed me slightly at first because there's a lot of books everywhere. However, I ended up finding some real hidden gems, and I liked that it wasn't copy-paste like all of these bookshops like Waterstones and Blackwells. It just had this homey, unique vibe about it, and it relaxed me. They had these weird jokes on the walls as well. It took me a while to get what they meant, but it was cute. Overall, they have loads of fiction, biography, travel, history, poetry, LGBT selection, feminist selection, just everything. Loved it. They host regular events, so I can't wait to go to one of them, and they also have a podcast online, so I'm definitely going to give that a listen. Actually, the only thing they didn't have was a good manga selection, which was a shame, but downstairs they had a little sofa if you wanted to read. It was quiet. Mostly poetry, kids' books, and psychological books down here. It was nice though. But my favourite thing about the place was the cafe. The staff was so nice. The food was delicious, and they even had little merch. They had an inside and outside. Oh, I can't hype this cafe up enough. I could spend hours in here. Now, my overall rating, the vibes, overwhelming at first. That's why it's a 4 out of 5. The staff were lovely. The books were great, but no manga, so it cannot be a 5 out of 5. And then obviously the cafe is a 5 out of 5, so overall it got a 4.1 out of 5. And lastly, we have Hatchards in Piccadilly. This is actually London's oldest bookshop, and it hosts quite a lot of events and book signings, which is quite cool. This has 5 stories, and wowza, this has every genre. I'm not even going to go through all the genres out there because this has every genre in extensive quantities except manga, which sucks, but yeah, I saw literally about 20 manga books and that was it. Other than that, this place has everything. But it's freaking owned by Waterstones, people. Again, they are monopolizing all of these bookshops, which is such a shame. And overall, I did not vibe with Hatchards. I really didn't like it. I was very overwhelmed. It was like a maze. I couldn't find any like signage about where to find each book and what floors held what books. It didn't have a cafe. The staff were quite rude. But they could have been having a bad day, so no judgment there. They were very traditional with how they categorize books. So it would be like a genre and then A to Z, author's surname. So I guess if you had a book you needed to get, you could find it in here, I'm sure. I just felt like this place had no character. It's a shame. You do get a fancy book, like a fancy bag when you buy a book, which is cool. But yeah, I did not spend long in here, in all honesty. You might love this. It just felt chaotic in there and I felt like I couldn't even comprehend what book I would like to buy. So I hope I don't get hate here, but this was not well rated from me. I gave it a 1.5 star for vibes. Don't get me wrong, there could have been signage. I just couldn't see it. Yep, the staff wasn't hitting it. The books, I have to give it a 4 out of 5. They had so many books, just no manga. And then they didn't have a cafe. I mean, come on, you have 5 floors. You could have a cafe in there. So overall, it got a 1.7 out of 5. Sorry. So I thought to end the video, I would go over all the books I contemplated buying. So if you've read them, let me know if they're good in the comments below. So the first one is Knife. Just the cover drew me in. I have no idea what it's about. It just looked good. Then Unwell Woman, my mum said it's a really good book. And yeah, I really like the cover again. Then I've never owned a poem book, and this looked kind of cute. Again, the cover. No idea what this is about. It just looks cute. This one I actually do know what it's about. It's about positive thinking and how you can get through a rough time, basically. And then there's the Foodist poem. This looked really funny. I read a few poems in here, so I was contemplating getting that. And then Empire of Vampires, the synopsis looked wild, so I was tempted to get this. And I will have a short video about all the mangas that I contemplated buying in another bookshop, Foils. So if you are a manga reader, please go to that video. I need your recommendations. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.